Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Just Born Movies. I'm your host, David Wray, and today with me is Manny Classic.
What up?
And the man of constant hatred, Paul Workman.
Too sweet.
So, what are we talking about today, Paul?
We are talking about Solo, Star Wars story.
So, Solo, a Star Wars story, is exactly what you expect it to be. It's a Star Wars story about Han Solo.
I've been running scams on the street since I was 10. I was kicked out of the flight academy for having a mind of my own. I'm gonna be a pilot. Best in the galaxy.
Gentlemen, what did you think before you went into the theater?
I was kind of a blank slate. I like Ron Howard. I think Lawrence Kasdan has written some good films. I'm not familiar with his son's work, but he was working with his son as a scriptwriter. I like a lot of the cast, but I just wasn't sure where to go because both Ron Howard and Lawrence Kasdan have done some real dreck over the last 2 decades.
Yeah, I went in trying to be as relatively blank as possible, given the insane amount of kind of controversy that's existed around this film with writers and directors getting shuffled around and stuff like that. All that controversy about who was getting cast as Han Solo and a bunch of people being like, that dude's not even right for the part. But objectively, I went in as blank as possible, minus my inherent love of things Star Wars. And yeah, that's where I went. So
Yeah, I kind of went in pretty much blank besides the basic trailers that I saw. Try to avoid like the longer trailers or trailers.
Yeah, and they put a bunch of clips online too, so those exist.
Yeah, and I like even the ones where they talked about like where they had Donald Glover give the tour of the Millennium Falcon. I tried to avoid those too, just in case anything kind of slipped out. But yeah, overall I just tried to go in as blank as possible too, with no real expectations. Of course, we already have some ingrained based on who we saw was in the cast. So
yeah.
So breaking down into it without going too spoilery, if you want spoilers, we do have a spoiler version of this that we'll put the link in.
We'll be releasing that later in the week.
In the meantime, Paul, what worked for you in this film?
I really liked a lot of the acting, pretty much all the acting. I can't think of one performance I didn't enjoy. Aaron Reich was really good at capturing the spirit of Han Solo. He's not a direct copy of Harrison Ford. But he does a really good job capturing it. Emilia Clarke, Woody Harrelson, Thandie Newton, Jon Favreau kind of stole a lot of scenes for me. Overall, I think the cast was really strong, and I think Kasdan and Kasdan's script is pretty on point.
Man?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I felt the cast was, by and large, my favorite part of this was just their performances. You get a lot of new characters, you get a lot of returning characters, and all of them I thought were very interesting. They were all exciting, and I don't think any of them put out a bad performance. So,
yeah, I would absolutely agree. I think all the performances were great. Soundtrack was solid across the board. I think, like you said, Jon Favreau stole the scenes he was in. I think Donald Glover stole the scenes he was in.
Yeah, him as Lando.
You know, overall, I think it was solid through and through. We get one brilliant shot that just was absolutely gorgeous on the screen.
Yeah, that shot. It's
and when you watch the movie, you know the scene the shot we're talking about.
And if you don't know the scene we're talking about, you weren't paying close enough attention because that shot is beautiful.
That shot is not only beautiful, but it is. I mean, at this point, it's all. I wouldn't be surprised to see it become an iconic Star Wars shot.
Yeah, it should be.
Overall, I thought the plot was well done.
Yeah.
I think it was strong. It came out running, came out immediately. It told us what we were getting right as soon as we started, and it stayed true to form the entire way through.
Yeah, they shoot you right out the gate. Chase scene, action scenes, it just keeps going.
Yeah, I mean, even when you think that they're about to lull down, they ramp back up.
Yeah. They give you a moment to breathe here and there for a little bit of exposition, and then you're off to the races.
Just enough to kind of set things up and get you back into the starting blocks to launch you out again.
Mm-hmm.
So, Manny, were there any who stood out for you as far as performance wise?
Singular performance-wise, definitely Lando. He is a major part of this film, and everything backstory-wise, because unfortunately he's one of the characters we don't get a huge amount of backstory into the original trilogies. So he gets a lot of backstory. You get to see exactly kind of how much of an equal he is to Han in terms of his kind of roguishness or scoundrelness, which is something that you get played into the original trilogy, but you don't get that direct correlation. L3, I love L3.
Yeah, L3's wonderful. Waller-Bridge. Phoebe Waller-Bridge, thank you. She's great. She's real good.
I think Paul Bettany did a good job too as the villain. For the screen time he had, he was very limited, but
real imposing.
Yeah, he did a really good job imposing his presence as the villain. So yeah, what didn't work for you guys? I know for me it was a lot of nitpicky things. Kind of some of the stuff they did with L3, not necessarily the character. I know one of the people I follow online was making comments about, well, why does Lando have a cape? Apparently, since we saw him with a cape, that's what he has. They addressed that Lando loves his capes.
Just loves capes.
And I'm okay with that because it kind of fits his roguish charm.
Yeah, he's real flashy, so...
Yeah, it fits him. He reminds me very much of like the Three Musketeers, the swashbucklers that had the short cloak type of thing.
Anybody who's down on Lando wearing capes just ain't flashy and real jealous.
That's right.
There were issues with it, but I don't...
My biggest issue is kind of how regular the movie looks. Outside of a couple real brilliant scenes, I think the movie looks average. Cinematography-wise, not storyline or pacing or plot or anything like that. I want to say that's about the only thing I could say without giving away spoilers, which I don't want to do. My
biggest problem, and I'm going to do this without giving too much away, because I could toe that line right now, but I won't give any details, just to say that it does the same thing that a lot of prequels do, where it tries to wrap stuff that you know from the original source material up in a bow, and it does it a little too much in this film for me. And there's a couple of music cues that are there to evoke nostalgia that really took me out of the moments they were in. And I don't like the last scene. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I just don't like it.
Yeah, I think the last scene was just wholly unnecessary, or they could have even saved it for a sequel.
Or after credit stinger. It's not a poorly done scene. It just wasn't necessary for the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, also spoilers, no after credit scene. Once the movie ends, you can just get up.
Yeah,
unless you want to sit there through the music, which of course it is Star Wars.
Yeah,
the music is
John
solid.
Powell's music is really good.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, he evokes, like you said, there are those two music cues that you didn't care for, but overall the music evokes nostalgia without saying, here's John Williams' soundtrack.
And that was probably a directing decision, so sorry, John Powell. I just didn't like that.
Anything else not work for you guys? Or anything else that you liked that stood out without being spoilery?
Like I said, there's a lot of stuff I really like in this film.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that this film does real brilliantly to either set up potential with these characters or introduce characters in new and exciting ways. You get some really brilliant kind of lines that are throwback lines. You get some really brilliant lines that could be foreshadowing for things that we know or might not know happen in the future.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's about it. I can't think of anything else that I disliked, since we were on that. I can't think of anything else that I disliked that isn't just full spoiler stuff.
This film has got me excited for the future of Star Wars in a different way than I have been. Not just I think they've done really good films, and I want them to continue doing good films. They introduced a lot of plot threads that I think could potentially be good stories on their own.
So, following on that thread, we talked about going into it, coming out of the theater. Did it meet your expectations, exceed them, sputter out and die?
I want to say that it slightly exceeded my expectations. Not because I thought it was going to be a bad movie, but like I said, I'm really excited to see these characters a lot of these characters move forward in stories that we haven't been told yet. So it exceeded in that way. I thought the film was better put together than I thought it was going to be going in, just kind of thinking it's going to be a Star Wars story, but yeah.
So pretty much it met my expectations. I went in hoping for a good film. I came out with a good film. It was the film I was hoping for as far as entertainment value, but I don't like going into Star Wars films hoping for things or expecting things. I try not to go into any film expecting things, except for the fact that if good filmmakers are working on films, I expect those films to be good. And Ron Howard's a good filmmaker, and this is a good film.
Yeah, I think there were parts of it that exceeded my expectations, like the universe building that they did. They definitely added to the Star Wars universe.
Mm-hmm.
But with what we in our subconscious expected going in, I kind of got those things, but I still got a good movie, which was fine for me coming out.
Right.
So overall, what do we think about this movie? Final vote here. What's our damn scale say?
Good acting, on point writing, fine directing, good music. Overall, this is just a really well done film. I think this is a real fun film. I think you can take the family to it and enjoy it. Overall, damn great.
Manny?
Yeah, everything Paul just said. This film does a lot of things real brilliantly. It makes me excited to see them in the future. While I think that the cinematography choices for the most part, outside of that one scene that we keep harping on, are
So
average, they're definitely not bad.
Yeah.
I think this film may be more so than any of the other in terms of the new four. This is the film that, for me, makes sense as to why Disney kind of struck away everything in the extended universe. Because that is out of the films, because the Rebels and Clone Wars are brilliant and do a whole lot of really great things, but out of the films, this is the one that makes the most sense as to why they get rid of all that accessory stuff to where they can build their own universe, because this does a lot of really great universe building. That being said, I'm going to go damn great.
For great acting, for solid music, okay cinematography minus the one shot. Yeah, overall, I think this was a well-told story. It definitely, the themes and everything really fit the character of Han Solo. I liked some of the things they did. I didn't like some of the things they did, but the things that I didn't like weren't earth-shattering. They weren't.
Yeah, there's just those things that, like, you saw them, you went,
yeah.
Oh, they're doing this now.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that was an interesting choice. Oh, what's going on now? So yeah, we got some really great scenes. We got some really great universe building, which to me was the most important part of it, because I think that any good universe needs to continue to grow. Some of the issues I have with some of the other series that I follow, they didn't continue to grow. They're just kind of resting on their laurels. I'm looking at you, Forgotten Realms. And with that being said, I'm going exactly where you guys went. It's damn great. Just those little bit of things kept it from being damn near perfect, but it wasn't so bad that it's damn average.
Yeah, I go like B+ on this.
Yeah.
That's where I'm sitting, yeah.
Yeah. Feel free to like, comment, share, subscribe, all of those fun things. And also feel free to contribute to our Patreon over at patreon.com/drinkingagemovies so we can get on making some original content for you, which we do have some in the pipeline that Paul has been vigorously working on. So until next time, keep rolling.
I'm solo, solo. Yeah, I'm feeling good tonight. Finally feeling free and it feels so right. Oh, time to do the things I like. Gonna see a princess, everything's alright. Oh, no job.